This is increasingly becoming my favorite drone. This is the DJI Mini 3 Pro. I've talked about it on this channel a little bit, kind of teaching you how to do a few things with it, some settings that I use, how to shoot better video, but I'm doing my review, and the reason that I've waited this long is because I was on a almost month-long road trip with my family, and I had this drone. I also had my Mavic 3 Pro, and I always went to grab the Mini 3 because it's just so easy. It's so small, and it just, I mean, they both don't take much to start flying, but the Mini 3 Pro is just easy to grab and go. I'm going to talk about the drone, my experiences with it, show you a lot of photo and video content that I've captured with this drone, and also show you one of the accessories that I take with it all the time. So this is the Fly More kit. It's the drone, it's got extra batteries, it's got all that good stuff. Let's talk a little bit about the drone first. First of all, this drone is small, and I thought it was going to be more of a toy when I first got it. I thought, you know, I'm not going to be able to fly this for any client work or really any, social media or anything that other than just enjoying flying a drone. Now, I was surprised, of course, when I started flying it, and the image quality that it captured just kind of blew me away. Considering how small it is, the stability in the air is just pretty amazing. This drone is 249 grams. I love this because it's under that 250 grams that requires it to be registered and all that good stuff. Here in the United States, they put numbers on things, and then companies like DJI come in 1 gram underneath, and that goes back to motorcycles that were 49 cc's, because if you had a 50 cc motorcycle, you'd have to have a motorcycle license. There's all sorts of weight limits where manufacturers simply just size them down as close as possible so that it falls under the threshold. So that's America right there in a nutshell. But the 249 gram ultralight drone is a lot of fun to fly. It's not super fast. It isn't going to feel like you're flying an FPV style drone, but it gives you the ability to get up there, move around, fly around, have some fun, and shoot some great images and video while you're at it. So it's super lightweight. The batteries are also extremely lightweight. So on the back of the drone here, you just slide the battery right in. You also have your USB-C port for charging the drone. You can charge the drone with the battery in it. So I'll just plug this in my truck and keep it topped off when I'm going from one place to the next. We've got our micro SD card right here, which is for storage. The drone also has a little bit of internal storage, so you can choose to record internally, which then requires you to plug in USB-C to the drone directly to your computer and power on the drone to access that footage. So I highly recommend using a micro SD card. And if you want to see the cards that I use, I'm using, these are not micro SD cards, but I use the Lexar. I think I may have one of them. Nope, I have them all opened because I'm using them in my drone. So the Lexar cards here, these are V30 rated cards. It's what you'll need in order to capture the highest resolution on the drone. And so V30 is kind of the new standard for stuff like drones, GoPros, and whatnot. They also make up to V90, but that's just a lot more expensive and you don't really need it. So I'll link to the Lexar cards, micro SD. This is an SD card, as I said. Micro SD cards that I use in the drone. They're fantastic, and I haven't had any problems with them at all. You can see I've got the cover on the drone to protect the gimbal. I highly recommend that you always keep that on the gimbal just to protect it from getting smacked around. You might also notice that I have a lens on the front of the drone, and this is a circular polarizer lens. What the circular polarizer lens does is it helps with the harsh sun and the contrast that you sometimes lose in the sky because you're trying to also make sure that the ground looks good. And so when you're flying a drone, obviously things are very bright usually. If the sun is out, you've got shadows on the ground, but you also don't want the sky to look all blown out and white. A circular polarizer helps kind of neutralize that a little bit, and it makes some of the colors pop just a little bit more without it being too crazy. Now, besides the circular polarizer, I also carry this full pack of lenses from Freewell. This is a full set of ND filters that starts all the way out at ND4, which is just a tiny bit of darkening to your image, all the way up to ND 1000, which is a lot. And I don't think I have a purpose to use the ND 1000, but if it was insanely bright out and I needed to bring down the amount of light that was getting into the camera, this would be it. Now, I've talked about ND filters a little bit more on my other video where I talk about shooting drone video, and I'm working on a drone video course as well, just a mini course, something that you guys can sign up for and learn all about all of these tools and accessories that help you get the best drone footage possible. So I keep that circular polarizer on there most of the time unless I need to limit more light because it's a super bright day and I want my shots to look more cinematic. Then I'll throw an ND filter on there. And this one's pretty cool because whether you're shooting in landscape mode or you go into that cool portrait mode that the drone will do, you can rotate the polarizer to work with that. And so there's a little notch on the top, and you just rotate it around and line that up, and it optimizes for whether you're in either of those modes. And now it's a bummer that the polarizer can't just rotate itself when the lens rotates while you're up in the sky, but it is what it is. It's just the nature of that type of lens. My average battery life on this drone is right around 30 or so minutes. I can fly this drone a lot and get many shots, and even put it up many different times for different purposes and fly it around. On our trip, this was the drone that I kept in the car with me, and I would put it up, fly it around, get a couple of shots, and then bring it back in. Every time that we stopped at a new state line, I'd get it out, we'd shoot a shot, and put it back away in the truck. And so it was very easy just to utilize this drone because it's so small. It grabs great photos. I would say, you know, on par but better than most cell phones. This drone captures that type of image because it is a small sensor. But that's what it's good for. It is the cell phone that doesn't need a selfie stick. And so where you typically would, you know, maybe need to prop your phone up or mount it somewhere or whatever to get a group photo, this drone you could just throw up really quick and grab a great photo, put it in orbit mode and get a cool shot that you can share with your friends that they could post on Instagram or whatever. And this drone is just perfect for that. Now, this drone is not perfect for everything because it does only have a few sensors on it. It has a couple sensors on the front and a couple sensors on the bottom, which means it does not have any side-to-side protection. And even though it has a few sensors that kind of rear face here, it doesn't have the best backup protection. And so when I'm doing like my pull away shots where I'm flying backwards, I have to be very careful. And I usually am very careful, except for one instance when I was doing a pull away shot and did not quite clear a cable that was in the sky kind of, and I hit it and the drone survived. It was pretty amazing. I did nick a prop. And so I had a prop with a little bit of a busted piece on it. But other than that, like this drone took a hit. It ran into something full throttle, nicked a blade, and that was about it. And it really does, these drones impress me because when there's something that jar them like that, like they try to stabilize, it tries to stabilize itself. Considering the fact you have 4 rotors, if you completely lose one, you're going to have problems. The thing's going to go down. But when you nick a prop and kind of break the edge of one of the props, obviously the balance of the entire drone is off. There's lots of vibration, and this drone did a great job of minimizing damage to itself and then kind of regaining composure and then letting me control it back in. Obviously, I saw what happened because I always fly line of sight, and I just did not see that cable, and I was looking down at my screen for a couple of seconds while I was doing that pull-away shot to make sure that my shot was still framed up, and bam, right into that thing. But stuff like that happens, and the drone survived it. It's not going to survive everything that you hit, but it definitely is much more durable than I thought it would be considering its size. I've flown this probably about another, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours since that happened, and I just changed out the props because when you get the Fly More kit, it comes with extra props, and I was able to just continue flying. It was no problem. Little tiny screwdriver, swap out the prop, boom, I'm back up in the air and and loving life. This also comes, if you get the Fly More kit, it comes with additional batteries, 2 additional batteries, as well as a charging case here, which is great. And the charging case allows you to charge up your batteries. Now, one thing that I did report in one of my other videos is that if you store your batteries in the charging case, don't expect the battery life to hold for several days. Now, I spoke in that review and said if you store them in the case, they're going to drain, maybe even overnight. I've tested this a couple of different times now, and I charged both of these batteries that are in here up last night. It is now about noon, so probably about 14 hours since I put it on the charger, and then this morning when I woke up, I pulled it off the charger, and you can see that like if I hit the button, one of them has full power, one of them has already started discharging. And so the natural instinct of these batteries, the way they're programmed, is not to stay at full battery life for a long period of time. It actually damages lithium batteries for them to stay in a stored state at full power. So I highly recommend that you charge your battery before you go fly. Don't worry about charging your battery after you're done flying unless you're going to go right back out and fly again, either the same day or first thing the next day. Once you take your batteries off the charger or unplug the charger from the battery case, then, make sure you're going to be flying within the next 6 hours. I also don't recommend just leaving this plugged in and leaving these here all the time. When they're done charging, unplug or simply remove the batteries. What I typically do is I just lift the batteries up a little bit so that they're not down and touching the contacts in the bottom of the case, and the batteries stay at full charge for 3, 4, 5 days before they start to slowly discharge to a safe state for storage, which, like I said, is what it does automatically. So, but when it's in the case, I don't have extra room for that because the case is so tiny and compact and everything fits in there so snugly. I have to keep them snapped into place, and it just is what it is. So I also opted to go with the DJI Remote, and I have conflicting thoughts on whether to go with the DJI Remote that has the screen built in, or go with the more simplified remote that then utilizes your smartphone. Now, if you go with this remote, everything is all-inclusive and you're ready to go. You don't have to worry about anything else other than just taking the sticks off the back, not losing them, of course, and putting them on, and you're ready to go. This, as long as it's not connected to an internet connection, is not going to try and see if you have a software update. It's not going to disable your drone from flying if your software update might be a little outdated, whereas sometimes when you are using your smartphone, it does that. Now, you can pair this to your smartphone utilizing your smartphone's hotspot or something like that. I have done that before, but you don't have to. This right here is a complete setup, and you don't need anything else to go flying. I do highly recommend, though, that you always update your software and check for that stuff before you take off, because in the past with DJI drones, I've gone out, I need to get a shoot done for a client because I have my drone license and I do that, and there's a software update and it won't even let me take off. And DJI drones are notorious for locking themselves down if you go too long without doing the software update. So I do recommend the remote. Of course, it's another thing that you have to remember to keep charged, and it charges via USB-C down here on the bottom. You can actually put a micro SD card in this as well and capture your footage on the drone and also capture your footage here. It's not as high quality if you capture it here versus capturing it directly in the drone, but it's a great backup. And so I have another Lexar micro SD card in the remote that I use for capturing video and photos there as well, which is cool because if you lost your drone, it gets damaged, something like that, the SD card, I haven't had any problems with SD cards corrupting or anything like that, but I mean, something happens to your drone, at least you have the footage that the control was capturing. Now, range is also really good. Of course, we're not supposed to fly outside of line of sight, and this being a tiny drone means you can't really fly too far before it becomes invisible and you can't see it anymore. And obviously, it's against the law to fly it up more than 100 feet above ground level here in the US, but it has insane range, and I have flown it outside of recommended distances just to test it and see, obviously out in an area where there was nothing, and if it did crash or something happened, it would not hit anybody because there was nobody around. But it has insane distance and capabilities that can get you pretty much anywhere, just because, not only because of its size and it has a decent battery life, but because there's good range. There are not any external antennas that come off of the device here, like some of the other. The DJI Pro Remote has antennas that fold out that get you extended range, but this does a pretty darn good job itself. So there are so many drone options out there. This is the Mini 3 Pro. It is small. It fits that niche of being under 250 grams. It is a great content creation device. It shoots amazing 4K video. The photos are great. Being able to flip it over into portrait mode and grab some of those shots for TikTok or for Instagram stories or Reels or whatever, it makes it really easy to do that. I would say one thing that does make it a little bit challenging if you're a content creator and you're shooting with the Pro Remote and the DJI drone the way that it is that it's one extra step to get your content off of your device. I have a SD card reader that also has a micro SD card reader built into it, and so I could pop that out. I could plug that into my phone, I could plug that into my iPad, and I'm transferring content right there. Whereas if I was using the remote that also utilized my phone, I can transfer the content directly to my phone. Of course, that requires the drone to stay on, and so there's pros and cons either way. Either your drone has to stay on while you're transferring content, or you utilize a cable and you just take the micro SD card out of your drone. Lexar has SD card readers and stuff like that as well. And yes, when you buy a micro SD card from Lexar, it comes with an SD card adapter. And if your laptop or something like that has an SD card slot, you could just put it right in there because the adapter allows it to fit. So pretty cool there. I don't know what else really to say about this drone other than I wish it was a little bit cheaper, but the fact that it is so useful in my life and I have utilized this drone so many times in so many different ways, I feel that it's a good price point for the drone, for the DJI Pro controller, for the Fly More kit. It gets you out there flying drones, capturing good content, having fun, and all of this fits in this little bag, which I can fit in the center console of my truck and have it there all the time, ready to go. And that is how I utilized it on our almost month-long road trip. I flew it everywhere except the national parks because it's not allowed. But I flew this drone everywhere and it was just a blast. So let me know what your thoughts. Do you have experience with this drone? Make sure to check out my other videos that teach you a few things about these drones, the settings videos, and all that good stuff. This is a great drone, and I'll probably come back and talk about it more in the future as I start to utilize this drone in different ways now that I'm back from traveling and I have even more experience with it. Let me know if you want a comparison between this and the Mavic 3 Pro. That's a big gap between those two types of drones, but if you're interested in something like that, let me know down in the comment section and I'll make that happen. But I hope you're having a great day. I hope that this video is useful to you. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel here on Gear and Light, and I hope to see you back in another one soon. Take care.